Highly sensitive person rage is not a character flaw or a lack of self-control. It is a natural biological response of an overstimulated nervous system that has reached its absolute limit. Is your sudden anger actually a sign of your deep sensitivity? The answer lies within your brain's unique wiring. For some individuals, the brain processes sensory information much more deeply than others, leading to a rapid accumulation of stress that eventually demands a powerful emotional release. Why does your brain react so intensely to the world? This internal pressure creates a specific physical experience. And that is exactly why an ordinary situation like a loud room or a persistent question feels like an unbearable physical assault on your very soul. Does a noisy room ever feel like a physical attack? This inner struggle often leads to outward conflict. Why advice such as just calm down or stop being so dramatic only makes things worse by ignoring the biological reality of your experience? Why does well-intended advice often feel so incredibly insulting? What is the most useless advice you have ever received during a meltdown? Let us vent in the comments. Let us look at a real-life example. Meet Sarah, who spent years believing she was a toxic person because she would suddenly scream at her family after a long day at work. Have you ever felt like a stranger to your own anger? Her story began in a typical office environment. Every morning, the flickering fluorescent lights and the hum of the coffee machine acted like tiny drops of water slowly filling an invisible bucket. Can small noises actually fill an invisible bucket of rage? Soon, the bucket was ready to overflow. By the time she reached home, the sound of her children playing was no longer a joy, but a final trigger for her nervous system. Why does the love of your family sometimes feel painful? The explosion was almost inevitable now. When a toy broke or someone spoke too loudly, she would lose her temper in a way that felt entirely disconnected from her true personality. Have you ever felt your personality vanish in a moment of rage? She was left with a heavy sense of shame. This cycle of overstimulation followed by an intense emotional outburst is what experts often call the sensory overload meltdown. Is what you call rage actually a sensory meltdown? Let us explore why this happens to your body. Inside your body, the amygdala has taken full control, shifting you into a primal fight or flight mode before you can even think. Did you know your brain can hijack your personality? These physical symptoms are the first warning signs. Before the explosion occurs, your body sends quiet signals, such as a tightening in your chest or a sudden sensitivity to the fabric of your clothes. What is your body trying to tell you right now? These signals often go unnoticed until it is too late. You might find yourself blinking more often or feeling a desperate need for silence, as if the world has suddenly turned up its volume to a deafening level. Does the world ever feel like it is shouting at you? This is the moment when the invisible bucket overflows. For a highly sensitive person, a simple decision like what to cook for dinner can feel as exhausting as solving a complex mathematical equation. Why does making a simple choice feel so draining? This exhaustion is a direct result of deep processing. Your brain is not just seeing a kitchen, it is processing every scent, every shadow, and every possible outcome of every single choice you make. Is your brain working overtime without you even knowing? But then, a hidden trigger finally tips the scale. Hidden triggers can be anything from a specific tone of voice to the feeling of being watched while you are trying to concentrate. What is your most surprising hidden trigger? These triggers accumulate until the pressure is unbearable. Even the smell of a strong perfume in a crowded elevator can be the final straw that breaks your emotional defense and triggers a rage response. Can a simple smell really change your entire mood? When this happens, the rage feels entirely out of your control. Write down your weirdest sensory trigger below. You will be surprised how many of us share it. We often mistake this reaction for a bad mood, but it is actually your nervous system screaming for a chance to rest and recover. Are you angry, or is your soul just exhausted? Understanding this difference is the first step toward healing. Now we will enter the deep analysis of why your high empathy actually makes you more prone to these intense bursts of anger. Can being too kind actually lead to more rage? The answer lies in the secret world of mirror neurons. Your mirror neurons are constantly absorbing the emotions of everyone around you, filling your internal world with feelings that are not even yours. Are you carrying emotions that do not belong to you? When you absorb too much, your system must react. When you are surrounded by stress or negativity, your brain eventually treats these external emotions as a threat to your own survival. Does other people's stress feel like a physical threat? This creates a state of chronic internal pressure. Because you feel everything so deeply, your brain struggles to distinguish between your own frustration and the emotional noise of the room around you. Where do you end and the rest of the world begin? This confusion leads to a devastating internal cycle. Once the explosion passes, a heavy wave of shame often follows, creating a painful loop where you punish yourself for a biological reaction you could not stop. Do you feel like a bad person after a meltdown? It is time to break this cycle of self-blame. The truth is that your rage is a desperate signal from a heart that has been too open for too long without enough protection. Is your anger actually a cry for more self-protection? To protect yourself, you must recognize the point of no return. We will now explore the specific stage of pre-rage, where the nervous system is buzzing with electricity but the explosion has not yet occurred. Can you feel the buzz before the storm begins? This is your window of opportunity for intervention. At this 20% mark of irritation, your brain is still capable of logic, making it the perfect time to use a grounding technique. Did you know you have a choice at the 20% mark? Let us learn a technique to use in this moment. The first strategy is the 5-4-3-2-1 technique, which forces your brain to shift from emotional processing to sensory observation of the physical world. Can counting your surroundings actually calm your racing heart? This simple act interrupts the fight or flight response. Next, we focus on the power of immediate physical exit, which is not an act of rudeness but a vital necessity for your mental health. Is it okay to just walk away to save yourself? Leaving the room can stop the internal clock. Implementing a sensory sanctuary at home, a place with low light and no noise, gives your nervous system the chance to finally decompress. Do you have a secret place where the world stops? These physical changes create space for emotional boundaries. Setting a boundary means telling people that when you reach a certain level of stress, you will need 10 minutes of absolute silence to remain yourself. Can 10 minutes of silence save your relationships? People who love you will learn to honor this space. When you communicate this during a calm moment, you provide others with a manual on how to support your unique nervous system. Have you given your loved ones a manual for your heart? Now we will look at how these techniques change lives. Consider the story of a father who realized his anger toward his children was actually a reaction to the flickering lights and the hum of the refrigerator in his kitchen. Could your kitchen be the secret source of your rage? He began to change his environment instead of his personality. By replacing the lights and using noise-canceling headphones, he found that his patience returned and his relationship with his family began to heal deeply. Can a simple pair of headphones save your family life? This change was not magic, it was biological management. Another case involves a professional who felt constant rage at the office until she negotiated a desk in a quiet corner away from the main walkway. Is your desk placement actually sabotaging your professional career? She stopped fighting her nature and started working with it. She learned to identify the feeling of a prickly heat on her neck as the first sign that she needed to take a 5-minute walk outside. Do you know the specific physical warning signs of your rage? This self-awareness is supported by decades of scientific research. When we look at the brain of a highly sensitive person, we see significantly more activity in the areas responsible for processing sensory data and emotional nuances. Is your brain actually seeing more of the world than others? This means you are literally absorbing more information every second. Dr. Elaine Aron's research shows that 15 to 20% of the population has this trait, proving that you are definitely not alone in your experience. Did you know that 1 in 5 people shares your sensitivity? But how does this sensitivity translate into sudden anger? The amygdala in highly sensitive brains acts like a smoke detector that is set to a very high sensitivity, often triggering an alarm for non-threatening events. Is your internal smoke detector set to be too sensitive? This alarm state consumes a massive amount of internal energy. When your energy is depleted, your prefrontal cortex, the logical part of your brain, simply goes offline, leaving you in a state of pure emotional reaction. What happens when your brain's logic center simply shuts down? This is why you cannot just think your way out of it. Recent studies using magnetic resonance imaging have confirmed that highly sensitive people have stronger reactions to both positive and negative social cues. Does your brain have a stronger reaction to a simple smile? This intensity is both your greatest challenge and your power. The key is to stop viewing your sensitivity as a burden and start seeing it as a sophisticated sensory system that requires its own unique maintenance. Are you ready to stop fighting your own unique nature? Let us finalize the tools you need for this journey. This heightened activity in the insular cortex explains why you can sense a shift in someone's mood before they even speak a single word. Do you ever feel a mood shift before it even happens? This superpower comes with a high cost of energy. Scientists call this sensory processing sensitivity, a biological trait that has been observed in over 100 species, from fish to primates. Did you know that even animals can be highly sensitive? It is an evolutionary strategy for survival, not a defect. The sensitive members of a group are the ones who notice the first scent of a predator or the subtle change in the weather that others miss. Are you the designated scout of your social group? Your rage is simply the alarm system being overwhelmed. Once you accept that your brain is simply doing its job of protecting you, the heavy burden of shame can finally begin to dissolve. Ready to let go of the shame you have carried? Healing begins with a new way of seeing yourself. We are now entering the final stage of our journey, where we turn this understanding into a concrete plan for your daily life. Are you ready to build a life that honors your sensitivity? Let us start with your first daily challenge. Your first task is to spend 10 minutes every day in complete sensory silence, with no phone, no music, and no conversation. Can you handle 10 minutes of absolute silence today? This ritual allows your nervous system to reset. The second task is to identify your most frequent sensory trigger and find one physical way to reduce its impact on your nervous system. Which trigger will you choose to tame this week? Small changes lead to a massive reduction in rage. When you feel the next wave of irritation rising, remember to use the phrase, "My bucket is almost full," to alert those around you. Is it time to tell people your bucket is full? This simple code can prevent a major explosion. You are a highly sensitive person, and that means you possess a rare and beautiful depth that the world desperately needs right now. Will you finally embrace the beauty of your sensitive soul? Your rage was never the problem, only the signal. Take a deep breath and remember that being sensitive is not your weakness, it is your greatest strength and your unique way of being human. Are you ready to step into your power as an HSP? Your journey of self-discovery has only just begun. Remember that your sensitivity is like a high-end microphone. It captures beautiful melodies others miss, but it also picks up the static and noise much more easily. Is your heart simply too precise for a noisy world? This precision is what makes you extraordinary. By honoring your need for rest and boundaries, you are not being difficult. You are ensuring that your unique light continues to shine without burning out. Will you stop apologizing for needing to breathe? You have a right to your own peace. Share your story in the comments below, because your journey toward understanding your rage might be the exact inspiration someone else needs today. Is it time to share your light with others? We are all learning this together. Subscribe to join our community of highly sensitive souls, where we explore the depths of our nature and learn to thrive in a world that never stops moving. Are you ready to grow with a community that understands? The first step is always the most important. You are seen, you are heard, and most importantly, you are not alone on this path to emotional freedom and self-acceptance. Do you finally feel at home in your own skin? Thank you for being part of this journey. Subscribe if you're tired of feeling too much in a world that feels too little. You finally found a place where your sensitivity is seen as a power, not a problem.